Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Before we get started, let's take care of the housekeeping notes. In the description below, you'll find the list of all the products I used and all the dimensions. You will also find a link to my online store. If you don't currently have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be yours. If you have any questions or want to know any information or get a new catalog or whatever it might be, you can drop me an email. Also, there's a link to my Facebook group. We'd love to have you join that. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel so we can help it grow, and ring the little bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. We're going to go back to the annual catalog. Everybody seems the new catalogs come out and everybody forgets about the annual. So we're going to go back to the annual today, and we are going to be playing with Happier Than Happy. I think it's an adorable set. It has all of these beautiful, and I'm sorry about the glare. I'm trying to get the glare out, but I'm not doing much good there. Maybe back like that. It has all these cute little critters. I love the bear. And it also has dies to cut out almost everything on here. There's also some independent dies. There's a tree. There's a tree that cuts. This one cuts out the one that you can stamp. There's leaves, acorns, a little tag. Just all kinds of little things. So, and I've already taken out what we're going to be using today. There's also this beautiful paper. And so I'll just thumb through here really quickly. It's just gorgeous. Love this one with the design on the bottom. And this one. This one I only have a piece of left because I've used all the rest. And we'll flip it over, and we have a lot of neutrals on the back, some foliage. This looks like tree stumps with dashes instead. Little crosses, little hatch marks. So it's beautiful paper. So let me show you what we're making today. This is the project we're making. Is this cute little card. Now this card I'm referring to is a triple panel aperture card. And it opens this way. There's our bear. And then it opens this way. And we have the little aperture in the center here. So the bear gets to go on multiple pages. So I'm going to show you how to make the aperture and how I made this. And it's all nice and flush here. And I'm going to show you how you get that flushness. So there's no bulkiness, but the bear is, if you can see it from here, is slightly raised. And I will show you how to do that. So this is what we're making today, and then I just stamped a few little butterflies on the envelope. So let me set that off to the side. And we'll get our paper out here. Now the paper we need to do first, we don't need these. This is what we're going to stamp in a few minutes. But the first thing we have to do is get our card base ready. Now, you will need a full sheet of paper for this. This is Calypso Coral. It's a full sheet. I've already cut it. Score at 4 1/4, or yeah, 4 1/4. Turn around and cut it. Excuse me. So sorry. And cut it 5 1/2. So, and burnish it. So you have basically 2 card bases. So we're going to set one aside for the moment. This is going to be the front of our card. And we need to glue this beautiful piece on the front of this and let it dry. And the reason I'm using glue is I want, where I cut this out, I want it to be adhered together really good. Now you can use a lot of glue or tape if you wanted, but I just prefer to use glue on this type of project. These have 1/4 inch margins. And we're going to set that aside and let that dry while we're doing our stamping. So this is the inside of the card here that we're going to be doing next. And so we're going to use the saying, happier than happy for you. And we are going to put in the tree stump and some grass. And we are going to start with the saying, and we're going to do Calypso Coral for the saying. towards the top in the middle, like that. Let me try to scooch this in just a little. Trying to get better with that. I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm not going to close it yet. And we are going to grab Early Espresso and Old Olive. So Early Espresso first. And we're going to stamp a tree stump right here down in the bottom. Like that. I'm going to leave that one open. I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper now. And there is some grass, like a little mound here. And we're going to grab our Old Olive. And I'm going to start going right underneath. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm doing stamping off several times. That's 4 generations there, just to give it some background, some greenery. And then I'm going to come across here, just sort of stamp some ground. Want a little more, but not quite too dark there. I'll go like that again. I just want some ground across the bottom of this. That's all I wanted on there. You can put as little or as much ground as you want. That's it for the olive green. And on some scratch paper now, the first thing we're going to stamp, well, we got the Calypso Coral still open, is our little fox. And we'll stamp him down here. Isn't he adorable? And then we're done with the Calypso. Calypso, I can't even talk today. And then we're getting basic gray. I have a gray owl. And we'll just stamp him right about here. Like that. And the last thing we're going to stamp is our bear. And back to the Early Espresso. I went with a dark colored bear. Do I have enough room on here? I do. This is just a 1/4 sheet of white basic that I'm using. And I'm going to make sure that I've got him really well inked. That looks good. I give him a good press. Make sure I get all the detail in him on there. Like that. Okay, let's set that there. And I do have one more. I need to open that Calypso Coral one more time. As usual, I'll set this extra piece aside. I forgot to do the envelope. And we're going to stamp a couple butterflies. And not put our fingers in the ink. I think this one will put, I don't know, 4 or 5. Just some little butterflies there in the bottom. Okay. Set that off there and get rid of this. So, and all the ink's closed up. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my big, these you could cut out on your mini, but I need the big one to cut the aperture, so I'm just going to grab that one. So the first thing we're going to do is get this out here. And we'll just grab this here. And we'll grab some dies. I would need to move this back. Oop, wrong way. I will get this eventually. Grab our dies and line them up on here. Now I do have magnetic plate under this one, but it still has a tendency to grab things and move them where I don't want them. So I'm gonna put a little insurance in there. And our owl. When you line him up, you can actually see his little feet through those 2 holes. You can see that on there. And finally, our little fox. And let's grab one more of these. Just like that. And we'll just run that through. These triple panel Aperture cards are really quite easy to make. So we've got all of these pieces here. So we'll leave the bear out because we need him. And we'll put the others in my bowl. We'll take the owl and the fox and set them off to the side. And the bear for a minute. So now what we're going to do is grab the piece that we had set aside to dry. Here, it should be dry by now. And you're going to open this up, put your plates in, and you're going to put in the side you want to cut for on this side, because we're not going to run it all the way through. We're only going to run it the section we need. Then you need to decide where you want your bear. And I want my bear roughly, I looked at the paper he was going on. He's going to be sitting on this piece of paper. And when I measured him, I determined he had to be sitting somewhere between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch to be sitting on top of the greenery for the most part. So I'm going to just roughly do him about there. And he's over a little bit because I wanted the owl to remain and the flowers. And, you know, look at what you've got on your page. I actually cut this page so I made sure my owl was here. And then we're going to put this on. Ooh. And I don't want any jumping. This is the last place you want your die to jump on you. And we're going to roll this through. And we're roll it about halfway till I know it's off, and then we're going to roll it back. And you want to bring it back the second time you're cutting your cardstock and DSP. And you don't have to put this white piece of paper on here, but I would recommend you putting something over your work so you don't damage the DSP on here. And this piece will pop out just like that. Now don't get rid of him, we're going to use him. Let's get rid of the machine here. Okay, now let's start assembling the card. The first thing we want to do is we are going to take this piece here and glue our bear onto the front of that. This is what's going to give us just a little bit of extra thickness to him. And you don't want to use tons of glue, but you want enough to hold it. So you want to make sure you get enough glue into a little bit into the up on the arms and stuff where there might be any tension when you're opening, someone's opening the card. Then you're going to take your bear and line him up. Glue is real good for this because you got a little wiggle room to line up all the pieces of the bear. And it is essential it be lined up. There we go. So he's just a little bit thicker now. And I did with the orange on the Calypso Coral on the outside because it just, I don't know, it just looked better for me because he's going to be glued down, but that's just the way I did it. You know, that's the way I did it. So next we need to do, grab the other piece of Calypso Coral. You're going to glue this one over this one like this, okay? So I'm going to put glue under this, on this. And I'm going to set this in here. I'm going to close this one to make sure it closes good. And then I'm going to sit here and make sure that everybody's all flush. And hold it just for a second. So we've got that panel in. Next, we need to start putting our other panels in. So this is the panel here where the bear is going to go on. So we'll put him on first. Woo! Right off the edge of the paper there, Lori. just like that. We'll be back to him in a minute. On this side, we're going to print this one with this cute bear on it. I'm letting the paper do a lot of the decorating for me because it is so pretty. Okay, and there's the piece we stamped. Okay, we've got two little creatures here. We've got our fox, if I can pick it up off the table, and the owl. And I'm putting these on with glue because they're inside the card. And there's quite a bit of bulk to this card, so I did not want to add any dimensionals to it because you've got multiple layers of DSP and cardstock in here. And the owl is going to sit right up here on the stump, like that. Now we're going to close this. We're going to go close this, and we're going to put the bear in. Now the easiest way to do this is put the bear back in the hole. And you can see where the bear is. And then gently lift the bear up, like that. Okay? Now you put the glue in. Do not get the glue and don't get it too heavy. But like I said, you need to make sure that there's some on the legs and arms, so there's no tension when it opens. But you only want the glue on the bear. Then you take this part of the card and close it down on the bear. Aperture cards are really easy. I'm going to hold this just for a second here to make sure my bear is adhered good. There we go. And there's our bear. Now the first time you open it, it's going to want to, stick a little bit. Go back in and push the bear down a little more. And there's the bear. He closes like that. There. There's another bear and the other animals. And this bear needed some more friends. And since there was already butterflies on this paper on the inside, I decided to put a few butterflies on the outside. So I'll put a big one right here. Put a little one up in the tree. And where do I want the other one? I think I'll just put it right here. So that is my Aperture bear card. I think he's very cute. Like I said, it's really easy to make, especially with the dies. But you can do this with anything. Oop, I didn't get my butterflies pushed on there too good. You can do this with just about any die and stamp set. You do need to make sure that you don't, now this one's probably the only one that's pretty thin here, but I think it will hold up just fine because of the cardstock behind it. If you have a lot of detail where it's cutting in a lot of different angles like this, like 4 or 5 of these, might not be the best idea, but everything else should work just fine. So you can do apertures out of anything you'd like. So I hope you go out and give this style of card a try, and you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Remember to subscribe and like and share and help me out in YouTube world. And also remember, celebration only goes till the 28th of February, and everything is while supplies lasts. And I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.